Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for Wlbt Plus. My name is Cara Shirley, and I am your digital news desk host here on this Thursday. It is Thursday, right? Yes, it is Thursday, May the 16th, and I am so happy to have you guys here with me. We have got a lot of stuff to get to. There was some stuff that we didn't get to talk about yesterday because the entire show was dedicated to the sentencing of Beth Ann White. We are going to have a deeper dive into that in just a little bit because Quentin Smith, who is our reporter who's been in the courtroom the entire trial, is going to come in with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes of what it was like being in that courtroom. We also have an update on Carly Gregg. She is the teenager who is accused of killing her mother and shooting her stepfather in Rankin County. And we also have a reaction regarding the Park Bridge homicide that happened. The Parham Bridges homicide that happened that we reported on yesterday. Before we jump into the news, though, let's take a look outside and see what kind of day we're having out there. We're looking over Tylertown right now, and it looks to be a pretty beautiful day. Lots of sun, no clouds in the sky over here, at least not yet, and gas prices sitting a little high, but it is what it is. But the weather-wise, though, it is looking really beautiful outside, and I can't wait to get out there and enjoy it. So police still have a lot of questions about the deadly shooting that happened at Parham Bridges Park, which we first told you about yesterday morning. Chief Joseph Wade says that a 19-year-old Davian Lindsay has been charged with capital murder and carjacking in the death of 29-year-old Melvin McNair Jr.
McNair. Did you kill Melvin McNair? Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Now, Lindsay was captured on Ridgewood Road after crashing the victim's maroon GMC pickup truck while police were trying to catch him. The shooting happened at sometime in the overnight hours. They're still trying to determine a motive for the shooting and if there is any possible connection between the shooter and the victim.
We will be deep diving into that to see if they knew each other, if they were acquaintances, what led both of them to that park at that particular time.
Now, we do have an update on that right now, and the bond for Davian Lindsay, age 19, has been denied for the counts of capital murder and armed carjacking. However, the charge of shooting into an occupied vehicle, he was given a $50,000 bond, and for the charge of felony fleeing, the teenager was given a $25,000 bond. I know he's only 19, but it is sad to see a life that he decided to make these choices that are leading him to this path, and that led to the death of this gentleman, of Marcus McNair, who a lot of people knew him. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you real quick where the Parham Bridges Park is. And you guys, I know a lot of you are probably aware of where it is, but for those of us who are not, here we go. We got it pulled up right here. And so this is the Parham Bridges Park, and we have a Jackson Academy right here, Old Canton Road, I-55 right here. And if I zoom out some so you can see where it is in relation to downtown Jackson, here we go. So we got downtown Jackson right here, and just up 55, just a little ways, is Parham Bridges Park. So the JPD says officers do patrol the Parham Bridges Park on a daily basis, and that it was during a routine check on early yesterday morning that McNair's body was discovered in the park. So 3 on your sides, Joseph, during talks with people who knew McNair, and they were shocked when they heard the news.
This was the last thing you could have told me, that someone would take the life of someone like Melvin Jr.
DeAndre Ori has been a lifelong friend of the McNair family for decades. Wednesday morning, he says he was walking at Parham Bridges Park right around the time that 29-year-old Melvin McNair Jr.'s body was discovered.
So when I got home, Melvin's sister-in-law texted me, and it was encrypted. I couldn't read it, and she called, and she said that was Melvin Jr. who had passed, and that's the last thing you could have told me.
This isn't the first time Ori has spoken to us about a death in the McNair family due to gun violence. In June of last year, his college roommate Melvin McNair Sr. and father of McNair Jr. was killed. Now, he's trying to understand how a situation like Wednesday could happen twice.
It was just senseless. You know, this was my college roommate, and this was his son, and we stayed in touch after the passing of his father. He was so strong during the time that his father passed that, you know, he was just there for his grandmother.
Ori isn't the only one feeling the effects of McNair Jr.'s death. Teresa Kennedy says she's known the Jackson State graduate for 10 years now, and that her and McNair Jr. would regularly play tennis at Parham Bridges Park.
He loved playing tennis, and so that was something that definitely kept him going, even through, you know, him losing his father and all of that. Tennis was like his way of, you know, dealing with that.
Chief Joseph Wade of the Jackson Police Department also paid his respects to the McNair family Wednesday afternoon.
Mr. McNair was a good person. I know that he was a good person because I knew him. I knew his father. I know so many people that have called me that knew this young man.
It's a horrible and a sad situation. As a matter of fact, when we shared this on our Facebook page yesterday, I'm gonna try and get this pulled up for you guys so you can see it. But Parham Bridges Tennis Center made a post yesterday regarding Melvin. They said, "Our entire Parham Bridges Tennis Center family is crushed that one of our longtime and most cherished players was tragically taken from us. A beloved friend to so many, Melvin's presence will be sorely missed. Those who knew him are offering incredible support and understanding to one another, serving as a testament to the wonderful friend he was to all. Our hearts go out to his family and his friends as we navigate through this heartbreaking loss together." And you just think of this, his father died a year ago, and now here he is, really almost, you know, a year exactly later, and he gets killed. All the crime, it's just such a senseless death. And apparently by the post that have been made on our Facebook page, on the story that we posted about this, a lot of people really loved and respected Melvin Jr. And our thoughts and you know, good wishes go towards the family as they are dealing with this so soon after losing his father and now losing him. Our thoughts go out to the family for sure. Now, Chief Wade is saying that JPD will work on more ways to provide more security at Parham Bridges and other city parks in the future, but investigation is still going on as to how the person that was arrested, how he knew them, and what the connection was. I'll show you again the video with him.
McNair. Did you kill Melvin McNair? Do you have anything to say for yourself?
And again, his name is Davian Lindsay. He is 19 years old. And this morning, the judge did deny bond for the counts of capital murder and armed carjacking. But the charge for shooting into an occupied vehicle, he was given a $50,000 bond, and for the charge of felony fleeing, he was given a $25,000 bond. So that is the latest on the situation with him, what his bond is, and we will, of course, continue to follow that for you here at WLBT. Now, a woman was shot last night at an apartment complex here in Jackson. So let me get this pulled up for you. Detectives say that it happened happened at the Pine Ridge Garden Apartments on Rebelwood Drive. JPD say a 40-year-old woman was shot in the foot outside of the complex. She is expected to recover. Now, this is the second shooting that happened at this complex in less than a week's time. We will, of course, continue to reach out to JPD to see if we can get some updated information on this, and also to see if we can get an update on the previous shooting that happened there. So we have told you about, we reported it when it first happened. Carly Greggs, the girl who killed her mother and shot her stepfather in Rankin County. I'll show you the picture here of her. Her mother is there on the left and Carly is on the right. So Carly did go to court yesterday with her attorney, and the attorney is trying to keep the media out of the courtroom. Her attorney told the judge yesterday that his client is not getting a fair shot, and asking that put a motion in place asking that the media be removed from the courtroom and not be allowed in there, and that also that Greg's that her bond would be reduced. But here is what the judge told the attorney during the hearing yesterday.
Your Honor, we believe that the media should be excluded. We believe that Carly is being prejudiced by the media. We believe that it's in her best interest to exclude them first, potentially, and then have our bond hearing.
I honestly believe that the public has a right to know this is a public forum. These are public courtrooms, barring specific problems.
So the judge said no. The judge says that he believes that it is a public forum and a public situation that happened. Now, he also said that he is going to wait to make a ruling on the bond question next Tuesday, and he said he would make a ruling on the media coverage in 2 weeks. But, his first response was he believes the public has a right to know. Are you guys watching? I know I have some of you watching on Facebook, some watching on YouTube. What do you think? Do you think that the media should be allowed into this courtroom? I mean, she is being tried as an adult and not as a child. So, I mean, I could almost see the point if she was being charged as a juvenile, but she's not. And, we were in the courtroom for the Beth Ann White trial for both of them. There have been several other cases that we have been in the courtroom for, and this is a story that hits really close to home, especially considering the mother that was killed was a teacher here at Rankin County High School. This is a very close to home story, and it is my personal belief that the media should be allowed in. But what are your thoughts? What do you guys think? Do you think we should be allowed in, or do you think that maybe it could cause some bias in her case? So, or some prejudice, as her attorney said. We'll find out what the ruling is on that in a couple of weeks, and we will, of course, let you know. And, of course, if we are allowed to be in the courtroom based on the judge's decision, we will be there to keep you guys updated on that. Now, we're going to move to Capaya County, where there have a couple of murders have happened, but the Capaya County deputies are asking for your help to help find a suspect. He's accused of killing a man at a truck stop there on Tuesday night. So investigators did release this surveillance image of the suspect. You can see him here on your screen. It happened at the County Junction truck stop in Wesson. Sheriff Byron Swilley says that he believes that the suspect lives in the area. And he also said that investigators do not think that this is connected to the double murder that happened on I-55 in the county. Now, if you have any information on this, if you can help identify the suspect or anything, they are asking you to contact Crime Stoppers or Copiah County deputies and pass that information along to them. Moving along to some capital news right now, the governor signed a bill that will impose stiffer penalties on those who are convicted of stealing cars. So this Senate Bill 2174, and it increases the fines and jail time for car theft. For the first conviction, the punishment is now a fine up to $10,000 and 15 years. A second offense will get you a fine up to $20,000 and a 20-year prison term. And theft of a vehicle from a dealership or a used car lot will get you a fine of up to $20,000 and 30 years in prison.
They can take these cars, I guess they strip them. Sometimes they are selling them. We're trying to go after the buyers of these stolen vehicles as well. But some of them are brand new vehicles. Some of them are in for service. And we think there's a lot of organized crime with it. It's not somebody just taking a car for a joyride. They're taking them and trying to profit off of them. And so it's a huge problem, and we're trying to attack it.
So this new law will take effect on July the 1st. We told you Monday, was it? I believe Monday or Tuesday. We told you about a conspiracy of a man, how he manipulated schools, jacking up the price of sports equipment that was sold to the schools. And it's not just the schools here in Mississippi, but it's really schools all over the state. But the gentleman, if you want to call him that, who is accused of this, he is actually from Petal, and he did plead guilty to a conspiracy that manipulated how schools chose his products over everyone else's. Now, 3 on Your Side is digging into that federal case just to see how much of your tax dollars in Mississippi got swept up in this scheme. But Charles Farrell Trim took a plea deal in federal court on Monday, admitting to the conspiracy to rig the bid process schools use to make purchases for sports equipment. We're talking, football gear, basketball uniforms, all of that stuff. But how rigged the bidding process for the sports equipment, and then commit wire fraud by submitting nearly 400 false bids to dozens of schools here in Mississippi. His employer ended up raking in more than $2.3 million over a 7-year period, and Trim got commission on most of those sales. Now, it's unclear right now how much he received. The documents didn't say exactly which schools were hit, but revealed that one co-conspirator was a principal at one of the Mississippi schools, and another was a school employee. My. Trim could get up to 40 years in prison and more than $2 million in fines with this. I think the thing that bugs me the most about this is, if you've had a kid to play sport, if you had a kid to go into any kind of athletic thing at a public school, and maybe even private schools, I'm not familiar with those, but I know definitely in public schools, these kids are working hard to raise the money so that they can buy the new equipment, so they can, make sure that they have the safest padding or anything like that, have their new uniforms. These kids work hard. And so these guys didn't just steal from Mississippi schools or the other schools that are in the country that this also happened with. But they're stealing from the kids, and that's what bugs me so much about this. The stealing bugs me, but it's just these kids. I know how hard the kids work, and this shouldn't have happened. I'm glad that he took the plea deal, which means that he will get some prison time and have to pay that in fines. But I hope that there is some restitution for these schools and for these kids that have worked so hard and ended up paying out false numbers. They didn't have to pay out. So there is a new study out that is saying the cost of child care continues to be a major burden on families. Says, according to Child Care Aware, America's latest annual report, which was released on Wednesday, if you have 2 kids and live in one of 11 states or Washington, D.C., child care can cost at least twice as much as rent. And I believe it. One reason why I had to be a stay-at-home mom for so long is because it was too expensive to pay for child care. After I paid gas and child care, I was not making any money to go to work. So the states that are involved here where the child care costs at least twice as much as rent is Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. In every other state in the U.S., placing kids in a child care center costs at least a quarter more than average rent. So, could you imagine? I'm thankful that my kids are past the child care age for sure. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to have our meteorologist, Ashley Civic, come in and give us an update on our forecast. So we will be right back. And listen to the commercial. Listen what we're fixing to play for you, because Samantha with the morning show has a really great story that is airing tonight, and I really want you guys to pay attention to it and tune in for it tonight.
Rodeos, ranches, and Western movies are what have defined cowboys, but their origins lie in Africa.
The Fulani people are longtime cattle herders. It's pretty safe to say that the first cowboys were enslaved West Africans.
Excluded from rodeos and depictions of cowboys in popular culture, Thursday night at 6. See how the term is being reclaimed. Don't miss Saddling Up, the untold history of black cowboys. A 3 on Your Side special report. Thursday at 6 on WLBT News.
Watch WLBT live and on demand with the WLBT News Channel, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and YouTube TV. Download the WLBT News Channel and watch Mississippi's most trusted station for news and weather. This May is all about margaritas. WLBT and Studio 3 want to know your go-to spots for margaritas in Mississippi. Vote in round 2 for your favorite restaurant or bar for the best margaritas. It's a friendly competition that's all about supporting local. Margaritas in May, the battle of the best margaritas. Vote now for your favorite restaurant or bar at WLBT.com and be sure to play along all month long. Round 2 closes Monday. Sponsored by Jackson Water. WLBT is Mississippi's most trusted station during severe weather.
And we are back, and we are joined with our meteorologist, Ashley Civic. She's here. Now, Ashley, it's looking pretty outside right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is nice for the time being. However, our next storm system is just a few hours away, and some of these storms could pack a punch. Some of them could be strong to severe. That's why we have first alert weather days in place for your Thursday night and for your Friday as well. We're expecting multiple rounds of showers and storms to move in starting around 7 o'clock this evening. Wind and flash flooding will be the main issues with both rounds of storms. However, all modes of severe weather will still be possible. Now, there is some good news. The Storm Prediction Center has started to decrease where that slight risk was placed for us. It was encompassing pretty much all of central Mississippi, but over this past update, we started to see them trim down that risk. So there is some good news in that. However, it is important to stay weather aware and staying vigilant as we head into the latter part of tonight and into tomorrow. So just want to time this out for you. Starting around 7 o'clock, that's when we'll start to see this system trickle in, especially for areas along the Mississippi River and into southwest Mississippi. Continuing into around 8, 9 o'clock, we'll start to see coverage in these showers and storms. And then by around 11, 12 o'clock tonight, might be a bit noisy as we head into the overnight hours. We'll start to see more widespread heavy downpours. Again, damaging winds could be possible with some of these storms. However, once we head into around 2, 3 o'clock, the bulk of this will be out of our hair and we'll be left with more dry conditions, although can't rule out an isolated shower by the time you get ready to head out for your Friday morning commute. And then we'll get a little bit of a break from the rain before our next chance for showers and storms moves in for your Friday evening. Now, a little caveat to that is if these storms tonight overachieve and take in all of that energy and really doesn't leave anything for tomorrow, that will really hinder our severe weather threat for our Friday.
So basically what we're looking for is storms that are not overachievers.
Yes, we want them to be underachievers.
That's right. You guys, storms, go ahead and be lazy. Be lazy. It's okay. You don't need to get a A+ grade
No.
here. No. So are we looking at better forecasts into the weekend, or are we still going to have some rain over the weekend?
So for the start to your Saturday, we will still see the potential for a few lingering showers. Not everyone going to see the rain by Saturday morning. However, we will start to see things trickle off for us, and we'll just be left with more dry conditions by Saturday afternoon and into the end of this weekend. However, once all is said and done, we're looking around 2 to 5 inches of rain, especially for areas south of the I-20 corridor. So flooding really going to be a major issue with this next storm system that moves in over the next 24 hours.
Well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed, like you said, for underachievers, and of course download the WLBT Weather Alert app for our First Alert weather team, because you guys are definitely going to be here all weekend. I keep forgetting that I'm off tomorrow.
Yes.
I keep thinking today is Friday, and it is not.
If only it was.
If only. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. I really appreciate you coming in. And coming up after the break, we are going to hear from Miss Rankin County. We spoke with her yesterday, and we got some info on a fundraiser that she is doing on Saturday. Hopefully she don't get rained out for that. And then we are also going to be speaking with Quentin Smith and doing a deep dive into our into the Beth Ann White trial with Quentin Smith. So you guys stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Rodeos, ranches, and Western movies are what have defined cowboys, but their origins lie in Africa.
The Fulani people are longtime cattle herders. It's pretty safe to say that the first cowboys were enslaved West Africans.
Excluded from rodeos and depictions of cowboys in popular culture, Thursday night at 6. See how the term is being reclaimed. Don't miss Saddling Up, the untold history of black cowboys. A 3 on Your Side special report. Thursday at 6 on WLBT News.
Watch
You guys make sure you tune in to WLBT tonight to see that special report. I'm going to also have her here in studio with me on a Monday, and we're going to be talking more about this. When I saw this promo for her story, I was really amazed, because even just what I learned in the promo is stuff that I didn't know. So make sure you tune in tonight at 6 o'clock to hear about the story that Samantha did. Learn about our origins of cowboys. It actually comes from Africa. So It's amazing. Tune in for that. All right, so we spoke yesterday with Miss Rankin County, who is Anna Jolly, and she has a really great fundraiser going on, a collection drive, not a fundraiser, a collection drive that's happening tomorrow. And we're going to take it to her so you can hear it straight from her. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to WLBT Plus. I am here with Miss Rankin County. She is about to be competing in the Miss Mississippi competition, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell me your name, a little bit about yourself.
Yes, well, my name is Anna Jolly. I'm currently Miss Rankin County, and I started a community service initiative called Limitless.
Limitless.
And what kind of inspired that is I'm originally adopted from Ukraine.
Wow.
I have been here, actually today marks exactly 11 years of me being here.
Oh, that is so
It's a
cool.
full circle moment for
Yes.
me. And so adoption and foster care is really close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of challenges I had to overcome just being from Ukraine, like learning the language, the English language, and trying not to have an accent. And I had a love for ballet.
Oh.
But I started really late. I started at 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with hard work and dedication, I made it into the trainee company with Ballet Magnificat, and I danced with them for like 2 years, and then I also made it into their Brazil trainee company.
Wow.
But then right now I actually own a dance studio called Studio A Dance Company, and it's within Courthouse Gymnastics. It's in Flowood, Mississippi. And really my story with Limitless is I'm trying to inspire people that it doesn't matter where they start. You know, I started in the Ukrainian orphanage, but now I'm a Mississippi business owner, and I'm really proud of that. And it doesn't, so wherever they start, it doesn't mean that their life cannot be successful.
I love that, and I connect with that story so much because what a lot of people don't know is 7-8 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was not working. I did not have a degree to do anything, and then, I ended up working myself into this business.
That's amazing. I'm proud of you.
And my experience all came through doing volunteer work with different ministries, and which is what got me in the door here. And that's kind of what you're doing with this Limitless platform, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So kind of a little bit of why I'm here today is I'm doing a coloring book drive, and it's for foster care children that have to be in court for a really long time. They don't have much to do. So we are trying to help them out, and it is benefiting CASA. They are helping these kids in the abusive home situations or really hard situations in general. And it is happening this Sunday, May 19th at 2 o'clock at Trustmark Park. We are just bring a coloring book or bring crayons or bring both, and you will only have to pay $5 towards your entry fee for the game. And Mississippi Braves is playing Biloxi Shuckers. So it's going to be really fun, and you will be doing something really great for these kids.
And you get a discount on getting into the game.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like a win-win situation. And then if the Mississippi Braves win, then it's a win-win-win situation for everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Fun thing about Mississippi Braves is actually where I met my parents.
Is it?
It is. It was the first American game I've ever been to. You know, we play football or soccer in Ukraine. So it's really a full circle all around.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And I can tell you, you got the Southern accent down perfectly.
Thank you. I really tried.
You're doing a great job at it. I promise you. So tell us again more about the coloring book drive and the organization that it is benefiting.
Yes. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. So they really help the children to have like a voice that can't really speak up for themselves. So they speak for them in court. And this coloring drive, the coloring books will go into their court bags. So they really will have something to do while they're there for hours or all day sometimes.
Right.
So this is something that's really benefiting them, but also CASA as well.
That is awesome. And of course, in the midst of you doing all of this and all this volunteer time, there's like this little pageant.
Yeah.
Do we call them pageants still? I used to be in them when
Yes.
I was little. I know how to stand and wave and all that good stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
But you've got something big coming up.
Yes, ma'am. In 2.5 weeks, we have Miss Mississippi pageant coming up, and I hope that you will come out and support me and all the other title holders. It is June 5th through the 8th. Finals is on the 8th, and you can get your tickets at miss-mississippi.com/shop, or you can actually call to get your tickets, and it's at 601-638-6746.
Awesome, and I will make sure that information goes up on the bottom of the screen so people will be able to see
much.
that. And of course, about the drive that you're having, make sure that information gets pushed out there so we have more people come and help support that, support you, support Miss Rankin County. And you know, I love the Miss Mississippi pageant. I love Miss America. Every little girl grew up watching Miss America.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It would be so cool to, honestly, for me to even win Miss Mississippi or even go as far as Miss America, because I'm not from here.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm really proud of, and I love this country. So
that is awesome. That
really
is
cool.
great. I know Holly Brand, who used to be the former Miss Mississippi. Absolutely love her. And then the current one is a super sweet girl.
Yes.
Super sweet. But I wish you luck in the coloring book drive and your aspirations to make it to the Miss America stage. You're going to be very busy, very busy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, this was again Miss Rankin County, and give us your name one more time.
Anna-Leah Jolly.
Anna-Leah Jolly, from Ukraine, but she sounds like a Mississippi girl to me, for sure. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Rodeos, ranches, and Western movies are what have defined cowboys, but their origins lie in Africa.
The Fulani people are longtime cattle herders. It's pretty safe to say that the first cowboys were enslaved West Africans.
Excluded from rodeos and depictions of cowboys in popular culture, Thursday night at 6. See how the term is being reclaimed. Don't miss Saddling Up, the untold history of black cowboys. A 3 on Your Side special report. Thursday at 6 on WLBT News.
Watch WLBT live and on demand with the WLBT News Channel, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and YouTube TV. Download the WLBT News Channel and watch Mississippi's most trusted station for news and weather. This May is all about margaritas. WLBT and Studio 3 want to know your go-to spots for margaritas in Mississippi. Vote in round 2 for your favorite restaurant or bar for the best margaritas. It's a friendly competition that's all about supporting local. Margaritas in May, the battle of the best margaritas. Vote now for your favorite restaurant or bar at WLBT.com and be sure to play along all month long. Round 2 closes Monday. Sponsored by Jackson Water. WLBT Morning News gets you ready for what's happening outside your door.
Taking a look at our first alert radar this morning.
WLBT Morning News is where you'll find Mississippi's most accurate forecast and how to prepare for news that will impact your day.
Breaking news overnight.
And it's happening right now in Jackson.
On your side with WLBT First Alert weather and anything you need to know for a day with no surprises. Start your day with WLBT Morning News. Weekday mornings from 4:30 to 7 and streaming on the WLBT News app. High school seniors, if you're a valedictorian or salutatorian, we want you to represent your school in our 2024 Senior Salute. Just have your school submit your senior picture to WLBT.com/senior salute as we celebrate the class of 2024. Sponsored by Jumpstart Test Prep. Get the most amount of ACT improvement in the least amount of review time at jumpstarttestprep.com.
Rodeos, ranches, and Western movies are what have defined cowboys, but their origins lie in Africa.
The Fulani people are longtime cattle herders. It's pretty safe to say that the first cowboys were enslaved West Africans.
Excluded from rodeos and depictions of cowboys in popular culture, Thursday night at 6. See how the term is being reclaimed. Don't miss Saddling Up, the untold history of black cowboys. A 3 on Your Side special report. Thursday at 6 on WLBT News.
Hello, everyone, and I am here with Quentin Smith. He is the reporter with WLBT that was in the courtroom for both of the trials for Beth Ann White.
Correct. Yeah, covered the original trial in November of last year, and then the retrial that happened earlier this month. Both trials lasted 4 days. The first trial, as we know, ended up in a hung jury. There was one juror that did not find enough evidence to find her guilty.
Right.
And so because of that, the judge ordered a new trial. That's what happened earlier this month. And in this trial, she was found guilty on all counts, and then she had her sentencing yesterday, and the judge sentenced her to the maximum sentence, which is 110 years.
Which is crazy to think about someone getting that long. I mean, she is how long? She is 53,
53
right?
years old, yeah.
So, I mean, this is essentially a life sentence for her.
53 years old, and she'll at least have to serve half of that before she's eligible for parole. So half of that would be 55 years. So 53 plus 55, she'll be 108 by the time she's eligible for parole. So.
Wow. Well, I do not anticipate her making it that. There's not a lot of people that make it to that age. Now, I want to talk about you being in the sentencing yesterday and her mother coming up and giving a statement. And here's one. I want to show a clip real quick from that yesterday. And it may be something that nobody else noticed, but if you watch the bailiff who starts out in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, just watch what he does. It speaks to me so much. I think I named the wrong video. Let me take it back to us. All right, so what happens in the video is, here we go. I had named it the wrong thing. Here we go. Let's take it now.
My name is Alice Hutchins. I'm the mother of Allison.
All right, you may proceed.
Okay, Judge Kidd, I appreciate the opportunity to tell you what I like to see done in regard to a sentence for the woman who killed my daughter and grandson. And who destroyed the lives.
To me, that action right there, nobody, told him to go get that. Nobody asked him to do that. But that action right there spoke to the emotions that were in the courtroom yesterday.
Absolutely. So it was very emotional, especially when the judge allowed family members of Allison Conaway, who's the victim in this, the judge allowed her family members to take the podium and to speak, just to talk about what it's been like for them these past few years since they lost their loved ones, and just what it's been like having to sit through this trial. Allison's husband, Charles Conaway, he wanted to speak, but he wasn't strong enough to speak, so he wrote his statement out and had the assistant district attorney, she read it. But then when Allison's mom, Miss Alice Hutchins, who you just saw right there, when she came to speak, immediately once she opened her mouth, you could just hear the emotion, and just seeing everything she was going through. That's what led that bailiff to go grab that tissue, because she was just pouring out her heart, just saying, although we are happy that Beth Ann White is being held accountable for her actions, there's still a void because our loved ones, Allison and baby Alex, are no longer here. And the two daughters, Chloe and Chelsea, are still suffering from those injuries to this day.
I mean, she even talked about, I remember yesterday hearing her talk about Allison was her firstborn child, and that Alex, the baby, was her first grandson, and just the emotions that was in that. And another thing that I noticed in her speaking yesterday, which we have the entire sentencing on our website, you can go and check that out. But other thing that I noticed is she didn't hold back anything.
She did not. She was, because you got to think, since November of 2021, this family, they've been having to deal with this. And so, this was their first chance being able to speak to Beth Ann White, to speak to the court. And she just spoke from the heart, just about how the family has felt. And like she said, she felt like Beth Ann White ruined their lives by her bad decisions, by making that decision to drink and drive. And something else that she pointed out that nobody knew until she pointed it out, baby Alex, on the second day of the trial, that Tuesday was would have been baby Alex's third birthday, 3 years old. And she also alluded to how Allison's two daughters that she's leaving behind, she won't be able to help them pick out their dresses for their weddings. They won't be able to talk to their mother about getting ready for like their big wedding day and just things like that. She said those memories have now been taken away. And she also talked about, like, as you mentioned, like Allison is her first and only daughter. Alex is her first grandchild, and now she don't get to share any memories with them anymore. So that's where all of those emotions were coming from.
You could definitely feel the emotions coming across when we were watching it. And then we had to talk, before they even got to those statements, though, the judge, they had to address the JNOV thing that the Kevin Camp had filed, which of course was the motion to ask the judge, Winston Kidd, to disregard the jury's guilty verdict. Now, he was saying that there was a expert that said, or he claimed that an expert said on the stand that they could not determine her blood alcohol content. Is that correct?
Yeah. So attorney Kevin Camp, who's representing Beth Ann White, he's maintaining that nobody can prove that Beth Ann White was intoxicated at the time that deadly crash happened. Because when they took her blood alcohol level, of course, it was more than 4 times the legal limit, but that was more than 3 times the legal limit, but that was more than 4 hours after that deadly crash happened. And he was saying, because she refused to take any of the tests on the scene, which we are allowed to do, no one was able to determine exactly, like, okay, at the exact time of this crash, she was over the limit. And since that can't be proven, he's saying there should be a new trial and the charges against her should be dropped. And he's also saying, like, because the expert can't prove it, my client is innocent. And,
or should be considered innocent. You can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt, I guess is what he's saying.
Is what he's saying at the time of the crash. But the state, their counter to that is, true enough, although we can't prove at the time that she was over the limit, but the investigators talked about how they smelled alcohol coming from her, smelled alcohol on her breath, found alcohol in her car. She told them she had just came from a bar where she had a few drinks. They found marijuana outside her car, plus all of the other opioids and depressants that were in her system. They say that's more than enough to lead them to believe that she was under the influence when she was driving the car.
And I mean, this wasn't her first time with the DUI.
Yeah, it's not. So in court, she was also charged with DUI 4th offense. So she had 3 prior DUI convictions. And then also during the sentencing yesterday, the DA's office brought up 3 other misdemeanor DUIs that Beth Ann White had. So they said she has a long history of it. And even her attorney during the trial a few weeks ago, even he admitted, like, Beth Ann White, she does have a problem with drinking. And then he went back to maintaining that she wasn't drunk at the time of that crash. But yes, this is not her first time facing the DUI charges and being charged of DUI or convicted of DUI.
I want to go to something that the judge said too about how normally the route that they would take in situations like this. So let's cut to that.
Oftentimes when I have to deal with cases of this nature where someone has an alcohol problem or drug addiction, we're looking at rehabilitation. We're looking at some type of treatment. And unfortunately, that's too late here. That should have happened a long, long time ago. So we won't take into consideration any rehabilitation or any treatment because, again, that should have happened a long time ago. As I stated earlier, I've had to sentence individuals to lengthy prison sentences because they have committed awful crimes, and they therefore deserve lengthy prison sentences. I get no joy out of sending individuals to jail, and sometimes these decisions that I have to make are very difficult. This decision will not be difficult.
Wow. And he says right there, sometimes he has to make difficult decisions, but that decision yesterday was not going to be a difficult decision. You know, we had talked before, and I say we had talked as we were waiting. You were in the courtroom. I was live on Facebook waiting for the judge to come in, waiting for the sentencing to start. And we were talking about the motion that Kevin Camp had filed for to dismiss the jury's verdict. And, you know, it's talking about how if the judge had chosen to accept his motion, that there was a possibility that she could walk free yesterday. That, of course, that did not happen. But to know, for me, thinking back on it, to the motion, thinking of what could have happened, what the decision the judge could have made. But instead, he made this decision, and it's a decision that he said was not going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, he said it was not a difficult decision, and he said Beth Ann White's lack of remorse during this trial and the first trial helped lead him to that decision to give her the 110-year sentence, because throughout the first trial and the trial earlier this month, she was very stoic, didn't show any emotion or even have a reaction during either of the trials. And then during the sentencing yesterday, the judge asked her, he said, hey, is there anything you would like to say to the court or to the victim's family here? And she chose not to say anything. Her attorney, Kevin Camp, said one reason why he advised her not to say anything is because he believes there's nothing she could have said that would have changed this outcome or prevented this outcome. So that's why he advised Beth Ann White not to say anything. But the simple fact that she didn't say anything is one reason Judge Kidd handed down that lengthy sentence that he did.
And as a matter of fact, we have a statement from the judge of what he said to Beth White in response to that.
I have to consider also whether or not there's any remorse for the harm you have caused. You've not once apologized for your actions, and for that, you should be ashamed.
You know, I understand that her attorney said that she shouldn't speak or shouldn't make a statement because it wasn't going to change the outcome. He didn't believe it would change the outcome. But I think at that point, or at this point in this situation, this entire situation happened in November of 2021. Here we are, May of 2024, when she's finally getting convicted and sentenced and everything. It's not about changing the situation. It's about being a human and apologizing to the family, if nothing else. Yeah,
and so we spoke to attorney Kevin Camp after the sentencing to get his comments on the judge making that comment about his client. And attorney Camp said Beth Ann White is remorseful. She is sorry this happened. It was never her intent or goal for any of this to happen. But after he said that, he then went on to reiterate that he firmly believes that she is not the reason this crash happened, and she was not over the .08 limit. And District Attorney Jody Owen says he believes by Beth Ann White not saying anything further proves that she does not have any remorse, and he agreed with what Judge Winston Kidd saying, like, she doesn't have any remorse, therefore she's not sorry. On the other hand, you have Attorney Camp, who's speaking for Beth Ann White, saying she is sorry, but of course, when the judge gave her the opportunity to speak, she chose not to speak, so we will never hear from her about how she truly feels.
Right, exactly. Now, Kevin Camp did say that he is planning on filing
he's going to file an appeal disagreeing with the court's decision. So he's going to file an appeal with the Mississippi Supreme Court. He said by the end of this week. So he has 30 days from the sentencing date to file that appeal. And his whole thing is he's maintaining that the state gave Beth Ann White the wrong charges. He said you have to prove that she's over the limit during the time of that crash. And since the state's expert witness and no one else can prove that she was over the limit when that crash happened, therefore, she can't be charged with the charges she's been given, and she has to walk free. So he's maintaining that. He's going to now file an appeal with the Mississippi Supreme Court, and we'll see what happens from there. But we did ask District Attorney Jody Owens to get his response to that, and he said he's confident that the convictions will stand, but if the Supreme Court chooses to overturn it, he said they'll be ready to take this back to trial again.
You know, I just think of the family, what they're having to go through, you know, showing them here on the screen for you guys. They, you know, not only had to go through the loss of Allison and Alex. At just 6 months old, he had barely even begun to live his life. And then the daughters there, you see on screen, so cute there. But they're going to have to live for the rest of their life with not only the emotional scars from this and the knowing that they don't have their mother, but the damages that they received, injuries they received in the wreck. And to think that knowing the history of Beth Ann White as far as her criminal history and this not being her first DUI offense, her second or her third, it's very sad to me that they would continue to try to take this farther and hurt this family more and not allow them to have the closure that this sentencing, I'm sure, could bring to them if they would just let it be.
Yeah, and the family members say they're going to continue to fight for justice for Allison and Alex, and of course Chloe and Chelsea too, because they're still recovering from their injuries to this day. The injuries they received from that fatal wreck, although it was more than almost 3 years ago, they'll live with these injuries for the rest of their life. The doctor testified during both trials that they're going to have to live with these injuries for the rest of their lives. So as you mentioned, it's something like they'll never get over. And with Attorney Kim trying to file this appeal, the family has the same mindset as the district attorney's office. They're confident that things won't get overturned, but if for some reason they do, they'll be prepared to take this to trial again and still continue to be hopeful that Beth Ann White will be able to have to face the consequences for her actions.
Yes, and you know, I'm going to choose to believe on the side of the district attorney's office in this and believe that the charges will stand. Speaking of the charges, well, actually, I want to back up real quick because this is something that I saw, and I don't know if anybody else recognized this, another little thing. But as I was looking over the stories that WLBT has done since the beginning, because we have covered this since the very beginning, I mean, since the day of the wreck. As a matter of fact, if you go to our website, WLBT.com, we have all of the stories from our coverage of this Beth Ann White trial from the day of the accident to the sentencing on one page there for you to find easily. But as I was looking through those, I came across the very first mugshot that was released of Beth Ann, and that is the one that is on the far right, far left. It's the younger, much younger look at Wingen, and you can tell that this, not that we're sympathetic for her, but you can see just from her appearance over these three pictures how this has been a tough time for her, it appears. And so maybe that lends to, at least by her physical appearance, it maybe shows that it has been hard for her, maybe. Yeah,
no one truly knows because, as I mentioned, when the judge gave her a chance to speak, you know, she didn't speak, so no one has heard from her. But I can tell you by her actions in the courtroom during both trials, she was very stoic, didn't show any emotions or didn't have any reactions. Even during the first trial last year when the judge announced that it was a mistrial, a hung jury, no reaction.
There was no joy that it was that she wasn't getting sentenced or getting charged right then.
And that during that trial, both sides kind of considered it a loss because the state knew they'd have to bring it back before the judge again, and Attorney Kevin Camp knew his client would still have to stay locked up until the trial. Until a new trial is set. So she didn't have any reaction during that one. When the judge found her guilty on all counts a few weeks ago, no reaction. When the judge gave her the 110-year sentence, no reaction. So she was just very stoic. No one knows what she's going through or or how she's feeling. Now, Attorney Camp did speak for her, saying she is remorseful, but as far as actually hearing from Beth Ann White herself, we may not ever know because she hasn't spoken to tell us her side of things or how she's feeling.
Well, I want to just play real quick before we let you go, Quentin, the when the judge announced the sentencing on Beth Ann. I know, especially from the Facebook Live that we were on yesterday, watching the people's comments on there was a lot of people that were extremely relieved and happy about what the judge said. So here it is.
You have been convicted of count 1, aggravated DUI for the death of Allison Conaway. You are hereby sentenced to 25 years in the custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Upon your having been convicted of count 2, aggravated DUI for the death of Alex Conaway, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years in the custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Upon you having been convicted of count 3, aggravated DUI for the serious injury to Chloe Conaway, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years in the custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Upon being convicted of count 4, aggravated DUI for the serious injury to Chelsea Conaway, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years. And upon being convicted of count 5, DUI fourth offense, you are sentenced to 10 years in the Mississippi Department of Corrections. These will be the sentences of the court, and they are to be served consecutively. Bailiff, you may take the defendant back into custody.
Wow, all those years, so much time, 110 years altogether.
Maximum sentence.
Maximum. What was her family's reaction?
Allison's. Well, you know, Miss Alice, when she took the stand, that's what she asked the judge. She said, "Judge, I'm asking that you give her the maximum sentence, but if not, at least allow her to serve 60 years. So the family got exactly what they were wanting. The DA's office, they were also hoping the judge would hand down the maximum sentence. And so when I spoke to Miss Alice Hutchins after the judge handed down that sentence, she said she agreed with everything Judge Winston Kidd said, his comments about Beth Ann White, about her, the lack of remorse. She said she agreed with all of that. And she also agrees with the 110-year sentence. And the DA, Jody Owens, he said this is the longest sentence that he's seen since he's been here in Hinds County. The longest sentence he's seen handed down, 110 years. So prosecutors and Allison Conaway's family members, they are happy, and they said it's a sigh of relief, but again, they say it's still a void there because Allison and Alex still aren't here with them today.
110 years doesn't bring them back. Doesn't bring them back. Doesn't take away the injuries that Chloe and Chelsea are facing. Yeah. So, but at least some kind of justice was served there, and of course, we here at WLBT, and probably especially this guy right here, is going to be following the appeal that Kevin is going to be, or I'm sorry, Kevin Camp, the attorney, is going to be submitting, and we are definitely going to keep you guys updated. Unfortunately, because the appeal is going to be filed, this is not the end of what we will hear from Beth Ann White. But hopefully that day comes soon.
Yeah, so he said he plans to file that appeal by the end of the week, so that'll be tomorrow. And then from there, the Supreme Court will take it up, and it'll be on those justices to see if the court got it right or if the court got it wrong, and there needs to be a new trial. So just got to wait and see what happens once it gets to the Supreme Court. Yep,
and we will be following that. Now, again, if you go to WLBT.com, you will be able to find all of the stories, all of the coverage that we have on the Beth Ann White trial from the day of the wreck to the sentencing that happened, and of course, as Quentin adds more stuff to those stories, we will be including those on there too. So, Quentin, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I've gotten to do the digital news desk with you.
First time.
Yeah.
It won't be the last, though.
It won't be the last. It won't be the last. I thank you guys so much for joining me. I will not be here tomorrow because I am off, so there will be no WLBT Plus tomorrow, but I will be back Monday, and so I hope you guys join me then. You guys have a great day, have a great weekend, and bye.